Hello and welcome to another Doctor's Assistant 1 video. Today I'm doing a video on my thoughts on a film, not the film but a trailer for a film called Last Night in Soho. I'm gonna go on a limb and say it's like a horror thriller sort of genre of film. I can't say I'm a massive fan of said genre. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just I think the trailer is really interesting. And that I like the look of the trailer, hence the reason why I want to talk about it on the channel. And what was the other thing I was going to say? The main two things that would draw me into watching it, as someone who isn't a big fan of sort of horror-y thriller sort of films traditionally as a genre. More props to you if you are, But for me, it's directed by Edgar Wright, who, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, in the comment section, please feel free to do that. But I don't think he's done any horror before, like pure horror. I wouldn't really consider Shaun of the Dead a horror as much as just a zombie sort of comedy. He's obviously most well known for the Cornetto trilogy, as well as the trailer points out, Baby Driver as well, doing that film. And it's sort of set around the sort of 1950s, 60s London, I think. Hence it being set in Soho, because that's like a really famous place in London, if I'm not mistaken. And it's also got Matt Smith from Doctor Who in it, and obviously as a massive fan of Doctor Who, that piques my interest. And just generally him as an actor, I think he is a good actor. It's just a shame that I haven't really seen him, Matt Smith, in a lot of other stuff. I've seen him in Doctor Who, of course, but is predominantly what I've seen him in. But he's also in The Crown. I'm pretty sure I've seen him in that a little bit when my mum was watching that, as well as him being in Terminator, one of the Terminator films, for like all of 5 minutes, and he was heavily rumoured for such a long time to be in like episodes 7, 8 or 9 of Star Wars. Every time one of those Star Wars films came out, or the lead up to one of those Star Wars films, there'd always be a rumour, oh, Matt Smith's going to be in episode 7, episode 8, episode 9, whatever, and I don't think that ever happened, so that was a bit weird. It's got really cool music to the sort of trailer. It's got these really cool, nice neon like writing and text and stuff about the sort of things that it's needing to convey. The music's nice on top of that. Very sort of ominous and creepy as well. And then obviously it sort of flips. It starts off a bit creepy and a bit unsettling, and then it flips partway through the trailer, I think it'd be really cool to see Edgar Wright do something like this, because if he hasn't done a horror, it'd be really interesting, and especially with the fact that he's picked the person who wrote it. If not him, he might have also written the script. I'm not sure. But if whoever he's maybe collaborating with, or if, as I say, he wrote it himself, maybe he chose this era, the sort of 50s, 60s era, because that is quite iconic in terms of music, and he is very good at doing this sort of diegetic, I think is the technique, sort of thing in film, where like music is tuned to the action, like beat for beat. You only have to look at like Baby Driver for that. That is pretty much a film based around that technique. He does it a little bit in Even Spaced, a TV show that he did quite a few years before he did the Cornetto trilogy. And then you look at like Shaun of the Dead, there's the bit where there's the song Don't Stop Me Now, I'm Having Such a Good Time bit happens on the jukebox, and then they're all like bashing and hitting the pub owner, the zombie pub owner, with like pool cues, but it's done in the actual, it's synced up to the music, beat for beat, and that is played more for like a comedic effect. But it'd be so interesting to see how he does that in a atmospheric, dark, horror thriller sort of setting, I think, and that. And the visuals look good. It looks like it's well directed, of course, by him. He's probably one of the... I don't want to say he's the best British director, but he's up there. He's definitely up there. He's probably one of the better directors we have in this country, in the UK, and that. And it's going to be interesting. It looks like maybe Matt Smith's playing a bit of a baddie, and that would be interesting. I always felt like he was good at playing baddies in Doctor Who. You know, like the few times that he had to be a bit not nice, or a bit like play it a bit more like as I say, a baddie. Then that was sometimes the times that I thought he was, for lack of a better term, like almost pushing himself more and leaning into and challenge. It felt like he loved the challenge as an actor to play a baddie, so he'd kind of like really push himself, you know. I'll be honest, the episode that springs to mind in Doctor Who is like Nightmare in Silver. I think that episode's a bit meh. Like, I don't hate it like everyone else. I just don't think it's... I don't think it's a 10 out of 10 by any means. I just don't think it's a 1 out of 10. But one thing that is phenomenal in that story is Matt Smith, because part of that story is him having to play like a baddie version of his character, and that, or not a version of his character, but you know, Mr. Clever or whatever it was called, the cyber version that like sort of takes him over, and he does that so well. So if he is playing a baddie in this, great. I like the title of the sort of film. Very simplistic, but kind of sounds interesting and mysterious as well to me. And the main character, something's going on with them, you know, mentally, and that presumably, and maybe they're getting caught up in a sort of mystery as well, and that again, it just feels like such a interesting, unique, different sort of film, to me at least. But then again, this is coming from someone... Take all of this with a massive pinch of salt, because this is coming from someone... this is coming from someone who is completely uneducated and has no real understanding of the genre. So, you know, someone else who is a horror slash thriller fan, or horror fan, psychological horror fan, or just horror fan generally, in terms of movies, could look at this and be like, what the fuck is this person on about? Because this film looks really dull, really generic, and uninspired for all I know. But to me personally, it looks interesting enough that I was like, you know what, the music is kind of stuck in my head a bit. You know, the fact that, like, I think you see the girl from like an early stage in her life, like quite young, and then, you know, you see her later on in the trailer get older, is quite interesting. The music, the colours that they use, there's a lot of very big, bold, vibrant colours. Matt Smith's in it, the interesting director. I'm not sure if the main actress has been in a lot of other stuff, but hopefully she's good in this, and if she hasn't been in a lot of stuff, maybe this helps her get on to do more movies and TV and movie and whatnot. This hopefully, maybe for all I know, this could be her big break, as they say in Hollywood. I don't know. Hopefully this does well. I don't know if movies like these do well, because I guess as well, like horror, like how I've said, I don't like it because it's you know, not a genre that I'm not a massive fan of because of the scary nature of it. I guess there is that sort of barrier to entry there. And I guess as a genre, it would probably not do too well in the box office because there's that limitation there, and also the age rating as well, because you can't just have like you know, families can't go to it. It's mainly sort of late teens, young adults and adults really watching horror films. Ideally, obviously some kids might sneak in there and watch it and get traumatized. Who knows? But yeah, Last night in Soho, have you seen the trailer? What did you think of the trailer? Or even the movie, without spoiling it? That would be great, in the comment section. And yeah, Thanks for watching. Please do comment, rate and subscribe to the channel.